Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Sunday, May the 3rd, 2020. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is the World Crypto Network. The price of Bitcoin is down 1.47% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 8,851, a high of 9,198, and a low of 8,738. Volume was up for a Sunday, with 9,316 Bitcoins changing hands. Margin longs are continuing to dominate the market, moving up from around 60% to now around 81% of the market. The halving continues to creep closer as more and more blocks are being produced at a faster rate. The current estimate for the Bitcoin halving, I'm now told in Pacific Standard Time, is May the 11th at 8:46 p.m. Tune in to the World Crypto Network for our Bitcoin halving party. You know, we had one last time, so we'll have one this time. Just 1,238 blocks away. But as the title says, I'm mainly here to read books. Here's a poem from Charles Bukowski. Put it on the big screen there. 60-yard pass. Most people don't do very well, and I get discouraged with their existence. It's such a waste. All those bodies, all those lives malfunctioning. Lousy quarterbacks, bad waitresses, incompetent car wash boys and presidents, cowardly goalkeepers, inept garage mechanics, bumbling tax accountants, and so forth. Yet, now and then, I see a single performer doing something with a natural excellence. It can be a waitress in some cheap cafe, or a third-string quarterback coming off the bench with 24 seconds on the clock and completing that 60-yard pass. Which lets me believe that the possibility of the miracle is here with us almost every day. And I'm glad that now and then some third-string quarterback shows me the truth of that belief, whether it be in science, art, philosophy, medicine, politics, and or etc. Else I'd shoot the lights out of this fucking city right now. That was Charles Bukowski from War All the Time, Poems 1981 to 1984. Switching over to the browser, except it's not going to work now. Maybe it works. Checking it out. Today is Big Book Day on the Thomas Hunt Show, and we aim to please. We have secured for you big books. That's right. Here it is, the Times Atlas of the Second World War on our new lighted book cam. Truly the greatest book cam of all book cams. Look at the Battle of the Philippines. Adjusting the book cam. Oh, very exciting. This book cam spared no expense. It's taped. It's taped to a microphone stand. But there it is. You can see why someone would want an incredible book like the Atlas of World War II. It has all the battles with the little lines of where the troops go. This is the Battle of the Southwest Pacific. See if I can hold it up. Book camera seems a little crooked today, but we're checking it out. We're just getting the show started, though, today with the exciting new diagonal book camera. No doubt soon to be replaced by a better book camera in the future, or at least a better mount. Checking out the thumbs up and the shares, getting a little echo going, and we're pulling up the chat. The chat says, good morning, good evening. Say hello to where you are. The guy says he's worried about the vaccine yet, and the vaccine doesn't even exist yet. So maybe you should wait until it exists to worry about it. I'm sending out the tweets. That's right. I can do this while I talk. It's an amazing new system.
There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
That's right. There's an infinite amount of tweets. And there it is. I've retweeted the show. I'm doing my part. Nando says, hello from Holland. Very cool to be in Holland. I'll bet it's raining. Just taking a shot in the dark there. But it is funny to be in Vegas while other people are in the European climates. Seems like it's more, I'd say, in American degrees anyway, 60 to 40 degrees there, kind of cold. Probably more like 5 to 15 in the colder climates there. Whereas up here in Vegas, we are topping out the 90s. And, we're beating the 90s. We're tapping on the hundreds, which I've learned recently is around 37, 38. Maybe if it's cool, it'll be around 34, 32. So that's what Vegas is like. Even now, it's not really summer yet. It's just May. Say hi from Camden, London. I went to Camden once. It was a fun time. I walked around there, went to a bar, restaurant or something. Of course, there was a Belle and Sebastian song, reminded me of that, like Morningtown Crescent. So I think of you. Checking out the big book here. This is the Atlas of World War II from the Times. Seems like the book camera went ahead and got a little slanted on me. It worked better in the pre-show. But there it is. Probably giving you headaches now. I'll try not to move it, but it really was it was better before, darn it. So, oh well. What can you do? We also have a second book for you this morning. If Atlas of a Second World War wasn't big enough, we have the Times Complete History of the World. That's right. It's a big book. It's a cockroach killer. It's a backbreaker. It's hard to even carry. Look right here at Chapter 7, The Age of Global Civilization. Maybe something that we're getting to the end of. So there it goes. The anti-Western reaction, the market revolution in the United States. Look at these magnificent charts and graphs. Book cam enhance. Diagonal but closer. It's a lot trying to go on here. Maybe I'll just move the book. But we also got the light now. We've got the enhancement. Look at the incredible charts and graphics. You can see why I bought this book. I'm an infographic chart guy, and definitely was attracted to this. Of course, rather pricey, but now that I took the sticker off, we all will never know that it cost me $29.99, which was a sale. So hopefully I got it on more of a sale than that. I'd like to believe. But let's see. If I angle it just right, we'll pretend that everything is lined up perfectly so we can check out the history of the entire world with infographics. How cool is that? There's Southeast Asia since 1975. World terrorism. Scary page right there. They say war benefits the rich in the chat. No doubt. But who do infographics benefit? Everyone. Infographics benefit everyone. I just need to get the camera to stop shaking. That's easier said than done, and it seems to be moving too. So we're having a dramatic and exciting morning here with the failing book cam system. But we mentioned infographics. I almost want to go grab Edward Tufte's books off the shelf. But mainly I wanted to read some books, unless you guys wanted to call in. I've got some Bitcoin news. We could do that as well. See what's going on in the wild, wild world of Bitcoin. We also have multiple price charts for you. Of course, we have Bitcoinal currently showing a snowy chart because it is down a little.
Don't sell Bitcoin.
Don't sell Bitcoin.
Don't sell Bitcoin.
That's right, John Oliver. We also have a second chart for you. Of course, the incredible, I think it's called Bionic Trader or something like that. But fantastic sell wall techno chart, really giving us the action this morning on the sell walls. And just for you guys, we have BTC War. Looks like we might need to get a refresh there. Let's see. Loading. Press to start. Get ready for the battle of Bitcoin. So there it is. This is what's actually happening when people are fighting over the price. People on one side are sell walls. People on the other side are buy walls. And you can see the orange line moving back and forth as the sell walls and the buy walls are pushed against each other. Someone says, oh, I'll pay a little bit more. And someone says, I'll pay a little bit less. And so on and so forth. The battle for price discovery. We're also going to discover some random books say invite Richard. Richard who? So I'm inviting everyone on. I put the chat number. You can call us now at 1-518-600-1949. You can call that 001 if you're international, or you can call us at Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. The graphics are supposed to come up right now, just like that. There it is. And it's amazing. So check that out. We're watching the price of Bitcoin. We're checking out some big books on Bookcam. And also, I think I was just going to read some random books to you guys. Let's see. I had more for Bookcam, though. So one of the reasons that I had to purchase these two giant, fantastic books, should adjust the camera first, but again, it feels like it's falling off. It's getting kind of a dramatic and interesting angle these days. But one of the reasons I bought them is because this book right here, Slamming the Monitor, was written by Richard Overy. You guys heard of him? Richard Overy also wrote Why the Allies Won, this fantastic book right here about World War II history. It's a real World War II history book. So check out Why the Allies Won. And a great reason to get the other book, so heavy I can't even carry it, The Times Atlas of the Second World War, as you can see, is because it was written by John Keegan, who right here we happen to have John Keegan's book, The Second World War. That's a great book. Maybe the best book ever written about the Second World War. I'm going to do a little zoom out here, get a more dramatic and exciting angle for you. But yeah, I would definitely say check out John Keegan's, author of The Face of Battle. He's since deceased, passed away, but wrote some fantastic books. And Richard Overy, Why the Allies Won. Two great books about World War II. I was thinking this morning about William S. Burroughs, and how terrifying he is. William S. Burroughs, friend of Jack Kerouac, friend of Allen Ginsberg, fan of heroin and other things. Once shot his wife. He killed her. But yeah, he's an interesting character. He used to do these cut-up stories, or he had no chance, or he had no option, so he would do these cut-up stories. And he would just assemble parts of the story, and they would just end up on the floor. And later on, someone like Jack Kerouac would come along and assemble them into a story, something kind of sensible like Naked Lunch. So here's a random letter from William S. Burroughs. Let's see. December 15th, 1952. To Allen Ginsberg. Dear Allen, Gerardo killed someone and skipped the country. They tried to shake me down for more money, so I followed Gerardo's example. Took off with an ex-commie also wanted for paper hanging. Bum checks, in case you hadn't heard the expression, in Mexico, Cuba, and the U.S. We had a few close calls on the trip up, but made it okay. I'm visiting with family for Xmas. Above address will find me until the 1st or less. Please write. Jack is in Mexico at 210 Orizaba. Dear Alan, thanks for the letter. There has been no change in my plans. I am leaving for Panama in a week or so, and thence will proceed to the Putumayo headwaters. In the words of the immortal bard, let determines things to destiny hold unbewailed their way. My income has survived the treachery and fall of Gerardo. I lost only the bond money. I should never have expected to recover peso one of that money knowing the Mexicans as I do. Gerardo fled to Brazil in shame and ignominy. He murdered a 17-year-old youth who inadvertently damaged Gerardo's fish-tailed Cadillac. I have a few bones to pick with that loudmouth bum if I ever see him again. After 3 years' absence, I had expected some impact on revisiting the U.S., but nothing happened. I don't like it here. I don't dislike it. I feel that my home is south of the Rio Grande. Mexico City is more home to me than any other place, but that is out for a year or so. They may have some kind of warrant out for me. I am taking the cure. No narcotics, cortisone, which is the very latest thing and works like crazy. The croaker says my health is perfect. What an appalling idea to sandwich my book with the memoirs of a narcotics agent. The book Junkie was published by Ace as a double book series with a reprint of the 1941 nonfiction account Narcotic Agent by Maurice Hellebrandt. It would be amazing to have a copy of that. Oh well, let them do what they like, but I can't see the point in further delays. Garver is in Panama where they serve PG in dippers. He writes that he is happy there and wants me to go in the pig-raising business with him. After all, a man has to settle down someplace sometime, so why not this little pig farm in Panama with old Garver nodding over his PG on the veranda? Marker is still in Mexico. I think he plans to join me in SA or Panama. Address in Panama will be care of the U.S. Embassy, or my address here will always be forwarded. Merry Xmas. Love, Bill. And that's William S. Burroughs, letters of William S. Burroughs. He's writing to Allen Ginsberg at the time. Today is Big Book Sunday. But we could check out some Bitcoin news if you guys like as well. Checking out the price of Bitcoin, it's up, but not up in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin is down just slightly, 1.31%, with a last of 88,047, a high of 9,198, and a low of 8,738. Volume is high for a weekend, with 9,249 Bitcoin traded. Margins long continued to lead the day, now up to 81% of the market. Bitcoin hasn't done this since before its 2015 bull run. Bitcoin price experienced a huge 20% surge in value last week, but one indicator suggests Bitcoin could still be in a downtrend. Seems unlikely. Let's see that indicator. When in doubt, zoom out. They've still got us in a descending pattern here. If you see the current breakout would have to go above kind of where it went. It went just about to 92, and they really want to break 92. If in a few days it broke 91 again, that would be something, at least according to their charts. Let's see what they say. The fib hints at what a breakout could bring. The Fibonacci retracement levels from the all-time high of 20K Bitcoin are showing us that a breakout today could see us return to much higher levels than previously expected. 9,550 is the critical level to focus on. It's both the 0.382 Fibonacci and the top of the channel. Claiming this level could see Bitcoin soar to the 0.5 fib of 11,500, which realistically puts the 0.618 fib of 13,500 on the table. Yowza. Forget the halving. Is this the real reason Bitcoin suddenly soared towards 10,000? Well, let's see what it is. Completely different reasons. Oh, a large transfer of the stablecoin Tether was made to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange Binance. The Tether tokens, worth a little over $50 million, were transferred to the Malta-based Binance early on Wednesday, just hours before Bitcoin began its $30 billion pump. Interesting stuff. Keep your eye on that Tether. Elon Musk tweeted this morning, anyone think they can get a good multiplayer Minecraft working on Teslas? Or maybe create a game that interacts virtually with reality like Pokemon Go while driving safely? Like a complex version of Pac-Man or Mario Kart. And I remarked, that sounds like a man living in his car. Elon Musk is, of course, selling all of his possessions and thinks that Tesla stock is just too darn high. I want to just say welcome to the 20 or so viewers who are joining us on YouTube. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. John Cleese's suit from Monty Python's Ministry of Silly Walks. It belongs in a museum, and it's in one. A great photo from my visit last year to the Victoria and Albert Museum. Almost exactly a year ago, exactly on this day. So there it is, John Cleese's legendary Silly Walks suit. Bitcoin may be topping out after buyers lost a key level. Bitcoin has fallen back into the upper 8,000 region after facing yet another firm rejection at $9,200. This latest rejection marks the third one that the cryptocurrency has seen in recent times, signaling that the resistance here could ultimately prove to be insurmountable. Dun dun dun. Bitcoin's gut check, the time of crisis as the moment of truth approaches. Kind of missing a word there. If Bitcoin weathers the current financial storm, our monetary system will be on the brink of dramatic changes or even a revolution. Ooh. It is an interesting time seeing the Bitcoin halving coming up against the
There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Infinite amount of cash from the Federal Reserve. The article believes perhaps that Bitcoin could inspire a flee towards hard money. Did kind of inspire the gold markets, rising to around $1,700 a bar. Brian Kelly, CNBC, says historic Bitcoin catalyst brewing, but the cryptocurrency may face a significant sell-off first. And it was so funny to see CNBC suddenly discover Bitcoin once again now that the price had gone up. As I predicted before, when the price was down, and it would actually be interesting for you to hear about Bitcoin and maybe even good investment advice, good information, they stopped showing the Bitcoin price on their show. They're not like here where we show you the Bitcoin price as a war, or even better, the Bitcoin price as a techno dance party. They stopped showing you the Bitcoin price entirely just during the time when you needed to know about it so you could maybe invest. Now that it's back up to 9,000, now CNBC is all about talking about Bitcoin, which, as they're saying, may be a counter indicator. When CNBC says times are good, it might be a good time to get out. When CNBC says times are bad, might be time to do the opposite. These are more pictures from my trip to the Victoria and Albert Museum. Please note, these items are generally plaster casts of the original objects. This is Trajan's Column. I think it's from Rome. I think it's outside of the Pantheon in Rome. What's nice about this version of Trajan's Column is it's split into two halves, kind of because the roof isn't that tall, and also to give you a chance to look at both halves of the column from ground level. Here's a close-up of another one of the plaster casts. And there's Michelangelo's David, but not really, because he's in London. So if you're in London and someday everything reopens, you could go check out Michelangelo's David, at least a copy. And there's St. George slaying the dragon. So many of those I encountered in England. And all over, really. Everyone loves St. George slaying the dragon. Of course, if you want to see the real Michelangelo's David, you've got to go to Florence. And there he is, complete with his little pal, the security camera. David is so big and so real looking. He looks like a giant, like a model who's just standing there. And you think that later on he's going to go have a smoke break. As soon as everyone leaves, David's going to get down off this platform and the giant's going to go out back and burn one. So amazing, amazing statue, the David. They say that Twitter's Jack Dorsey is dangerously wrong about Bitcoin's role as crypto world currency. That's interesting. Let's see why. Cash App benefits. Of course, Cash App's going to benefit. Jack Dorsey has recently described the Bitcoin white paper as poetry. Sounds pretty good. Facebook's Libra failed to get off the ground and now sees Bitcoin as a way of circumventing those very same national hurdles. Very good, very good. No, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing what they're saying. Jack Dorsey seems to understand Bitcoin pretty good as far as I can see. Gold shortage proves Bitcoin superiority, argues Coinbase. Oh, Coinbase, that website that can't stay online. There's a Coinbase shortage. Gold is in high demand, but the global supply is struggling to keep up. Coinbase suggests that it's further proof that Bitcoin is a better store of value. Just maybe not Bitcoin on Coinbase. Bitcoin's technological advantages include easy transfers and divisibility. And it's light, and it doesn't take up any space. More pictures from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. This is just captured from my photo roll, but this is, of course, the Apple summary of my photos. What do my real photos look like? They look more like this. Duplicate copies of everything because I'm always shooting different angles. Zooming in on details. Basically, you have a camera with near infinite film in your pocket. So why not use it? Why not shoot more pictures? That's what I say. Just this morning, we had a reminder about the importance of the Oxford comma, brought to you by a book here. It was dedicated to my parents, comma, Ayn Rand, and God. So it seems like the author was born by Ayn Rand and God. Very funny. Little typo, why you should use the Oxford or so-called unnecessary comma. Gizmodo, Siberian wildfires have burned an area more than three times the size of Delaware. But that's nothing to worry about. Balaji has more messages on Twitter. To 0 and 1. To get to 0 new cases, you've got to keep the effective reproduction number below 1. Then test, trace, isolate till you get a vaccine or a treatment. Winners get to 0 first, and many countries are now entering the winner's circle. But the USA is literally in last place. Let's take a look at the graphic. You can see here the rest of the countries, many of them starting to dip down. Spain, Iran, Germany, even Italy dipping down. UK seems to be trending up. Really, if you look at it, they're sticking up out of the pack. But no one is trending as up as the US. We're in a complete another world where it doesn't seem like we're controlling the virus at all. Hey, we're working on some new designs for Bitcoin Not Bombs. Maybe a Halvening t-shirt or just a return of the classic Bitcoin orange. Which one do you like? Let us know on Twitter. Write to my friend Davi Barker. I've retweeted this on the Mad Bitcoins account. I like this one. I think the modern kind of new style airplane, like Bitcoin used to be kind of a cartoony airplane, but now Bitcoin's become a more realistic looking airplane. I think that one's pretty good. Still has the original spirit of Bitcoin Not Bombs. Wild ideas to bring back sports might say more about cities than leagues. That's right, MGM Resorts International in hard-hit Las Vegas has proposed audacious plans to the leagues to come back in a quarantined environment, just as we predicted for you weeks ago. Right here on the Thomas Hunt Show, my friend James D'Angelo proposed escape pods. You put the NBA players, you put their wives, their families, you put them all in separate, segregated quarantine. You keep them separate for 14 days. Make sure none of them have the virus. Then you bring them into a place like a college campus. Or how about a series of multiple hotel casinos connected by underground pathways? That's right, they're thinking the Delano, the Mandalay Bay, the Luxor are all connected, as well as Excalibur, really, if you need more space. They can put up basketball courts in the conference center of the Mandalay Bay. They could have multiple teams and their wives and families and the people working for them serving up food in the restaurant, so on and so forth, right inside of Las Vegas broadcasting basketball games. They've proposed the same idea for baseball and pretty much every other sport. It's starting to get serious. Escape pods to save sports. Shout out to the Trolls World Tour movie. I mainly watched it because it's a historic movie. It's the first movie that they streamed directly instead of putting it in the movie theaters. Kind of broke the whole movie theater model. And right now, Universal Pictures, the company that streamed it, is currently blacklisted by AMC Movies. So it's a pretty big deal. But it turns out it's a great movie. It's all about the kind of 5 different types of music: pop music, techno music, classical music, funk music, country music, as well as a little reggae and smooth jazz and K-pop, and how the different types of music can work together. And I think it'd be a great movie for kids. A lot of great songs, a lot of great cover songs of great rock songs and funk and everything else. Has George Clinton. Come on. I defeated the South Park video games. As I said before, the Switch version of South Park, The Fractured Butthole, is very buggy and crashed on my way to victory. So I had to play my brother's save game on the PS4, but I accomplished it. I've beaten both of the South Park video games. So no more of that. We are free, at least until I buy the downloadable content, which I'm very unlikely to do, given the terrible state that they left me there on the Switch. We've got more books, and that means more William S. Burroughs. This is from Word Virus, the William S. Burroughs reader. So it's random stories and stuff. So we're just getting a random flip. Oh, I don't know what this is. Old Sarge. All right, you limey has-beens. I'm going to say it country simple. You have all been taken over like a banana republic. Your royal family is nothing but a holographic picture projected by the CIA. What is its purpose? Well, its purpose is the purpose of the Pope for you Catholics, good and bad, standing with John 23 like a good soldier in the presence of your captain. Any way you slice it, it's a grovel operation, the way we like to see them. I mean, what are we doing while the Pope and other holies keep Marx paralyzed with grovel rays is one of the mysteries you cannot understand, the mercy of God. We don't intend to be here when this shithouse goes up. Maybe I'm talking too much about private things. Family matters, you might say. And that's what we call the good old CIA, the family. So, there's just a reading from Word Virus, the William S. Burroughs reader, here on the Thomas Hunt Show. We did some Bitcoin news. We checked out the price. Trying to find my mouse clicker. And we've got the brand new, totally crooked, enjoying itself wherever it wants to kind of film today, book camera. At least it's up in the sky. It may be totally crooked, but at least it's up in the sky. Got more books. All right, let's see right here. This is Hunter S. Thompson, The Proud Highway, Saga of a Desperate Southern Gentleman. These are more letters. Randomly selected. He's writing to Joe Hudson. Let me see. Maybe I have some bookmarked letters. That might be better. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Okay, so here we go. This is, I can't read it while you guys watch it, but... April 14th, 1961. Dear Mr. Robinson, you'll be happy to know that your check for Easy Come, Easy Go has paid for a .44 Magnum, the ultimate handgun. It will knock a motor block off its mounts, destroy a small tree, and disembowel a boar at 100 yards. No man should be without one. Your check for the Big Sur article paid for a .22 Magnum, but this has rapidly become obsolete except for target shooting and queer baiting. It has also, with the help of a large Doberman, which also came out of that check, brought me to a condition of eviction. It will be my 5th eviction in 3 years, probably a record of some sort. Now, after beating my chest and showing my scars, we come to what I hope will not turn out to be a problem. In the 1961 issue of Writer's Yearbook, the rogue blurb says you pay 5 cents a word for fiction, and that your limit is 4,000 words. This, plus your editing work on the Big Sur article, evokes me to the possibility that you may, at this very moment, be condensing Easy Come, Easy Go to 5,000 words. Or perhaps you have paid a decent price for a story that is abnormally long, but that you are going to use anyway. I hope I am right on the second count, because I don't think my story will be very affected with 3/8 of it chopped away. Granted, the story is a long one, but I don't think it drags anywhere, and it scares the hell out of me to think that it might be cut up to fit your space requirements. I'm probably jumping the gun on you here, conjuring up demons that may not exist, but I also understand your eternal hassle with space problems. On the other hand, I hope you understand that long after rogue space problems of any given month of 1961 are a thing of the past, a fellow named Hunter S. Thompson is going to have to live with a published version of a short story called Easy Come, Easy Go. Let me stress here that at this state of the game, I am perfectly happy to sell a story for $2.50. As a matter of fact, I am damn happy to sell a story at all. But to have it cut up, well, Frank, you said in your letter of August 2nd that you were well aware how authors feel about edited work. So this shouldn't surprise you. Anyway, why don't you give me the word so I can relax? There's a little Hunter S. Thompson, Proud Highway. I like the way he writes the guy. He really writes him because he wants more money, or he wants his story not to be edited, right? But he starts out, I have a 44 Magnum. I have a 22 Magnum. I have a Doberman dog. And I don't want my story edited. They saying in the chat that word virus sounds like neuromancer or perhaps snow crash. In Snow Crash, they certainly did have a word virus, a thought virus, that would crash your whole brain. And then presumably you could kind of see static on the people's eyes of the people that had snow crashed. Snow Crash, in that manner, is a lot like Infinite Jest. In Infinite Jest, they had this movie that was so good, once you started watching it, you would never stop. You guys want to hear a little Infinite Jest? I don't know if I have good bookmarks. My bookmarks might all be in the digital version of Infinite Jest. I started out trying to read the hardback. It's heavy. And not only is it heavy, it's hard to read because you have to keep flipping back and forth between the footnotes in the back and the book in the front. Infinite Jest famously is a book, a novel, right? A story. But it's a story filled with footnotes, and the footnotes are important, right? The footnotes give you fun information like all the details of the guy's filmography. He's created a whole alternative universe where this guy's made tons and tons of films. Just flipping through it randomly, I'm not sure if I'm going to find a great quote from Infinite Jest. Obviously here, we're reminded of the years. In Infinite Jest, they have this thing called Sponsored Time. And one of the things in Sponsored Time is called the Year of the Depends Adult Undergarment. So you could just sponsor time and everyone has to refer to it all the time. Here it is. I actually I've bookmarked it. This is one of the valuable things to trying to understand the book. It's called The Chronology of the Organization of North American Nations, Revenue Enhancing Subsidized Time by Year. First, there was the year of the Whopper. Then the year of the Tux medicated pad, the year of the trial-sized Dove bar, the year of the Purdue Wonder Chicken, the year of the Whisper Quiet Maytag Dishmaster, the year of the Yushitsu 2007 Mimetic Resolution Cartridge View Motherboard Easy-to-Install Upgrade for Infernitron Interlaced TP Systems for home, office, or mobile. The year of dairy products from the American Heartland. the year of depend adult undergarments, and the year of glad. Most of the book takes place in what they end up calling YMRCVMETIUFIILTPS4HOOM, or the Usitsu Mimetic Resolution Cartridge Viewer. A lot takes place there. Some of it takes place in DAU, or the Year of Depend Adults Undergarment. They tend to use abbreviations because it's so complicated with subsidized time. It's Infinite Jest right there. That's a big book. It's Big Book Sunday. We're going to open up the phone calls just one more time. If you guys want to call in, say anything about Bitcoin, the halvening, Big Book Sunday, the price of Bitcoin. Which viewer do you like the best? Do you like the techno viewer here? Do you like my friend's amazing seasonal viewer, Bitcoinal? We can see that it's snowy. You can even get rid of the snow, and it counts how much of the stuff you've cleared away. You can click on the bowl.
Don't sell Bitcoin.
Don't sell Bitcoin. And we've also got BTC Wars, where they're fighting over the price. It's very cool. Checking out maybe some more big books. It's not a big book, but it's a good book. This is called Bright Lights, Big City. It's by Jay McInerney. Jay McInerney. I used to say McInerney, but McInerney. It starts out with a quote from The Sun Also Rises. "How did you go bankrupt?" Bill asked. "Two ways," Mike said. "Gradually, and then suddenly." And it's just a great book. So fun. It starts out in the first chapter. It says, "It's 6 a.m. Do you know where you are? You are not the kind of guy who would be in a place like this at this time in the morning. But here you are, and you cannot say that the terrain is entirely unfamiliar, although the details are fuzzy. You are at a nightclub talking to a girl with a shaved head. The club is either Heartbreak or the Lizard Lounge. All might come clear if you could just slip into the bathroom and do a little bit more Bolivian marching powder. Then again, it might not. A small voice inside you insists this epidemic lack of clarity is a result of too much of that already. The night has already turned on that imperceptible pivot where 2 a.m. changes to 6 a.m. You know this moment is come and gone, but you are not yet willing to concede that you have crossed the line, beyond which all is gratuitous damage and the play of unraveled nerve endings. Somewhere back there you could have cut your losses, but you rode past that moment on a comet trail of white powder, and now you are trying to hang on to the rush. Your brain at this moment is comprised of brigades of tiny Bolivian soldiers. They are tired and muddy from their long march through the night. There are holes in their boots, and they are hungry. They need to be fed. They need the Bolivian marching powder." So there's a little bit of Bright Lights, Big City by Jay McInerney. And it's a great book. It's a debut book. It was his first book. And it blew everyone away, and they loved it. And they thought it was The Catcher in the Rye. And they made a movie. I think it has Michael J. Fox and Eric Stoltz, maybe. And movie's no good. And his other books weren't great either, I heard. But this is the one. Bright Lights, Big City. A little bit more, couple more books. This is from Fight Club. Randomly selected. Let's see. No, that's not good enough. Interesting. Marla. The security task force guy explained everything to me. Baggage handlers can ignore a ticking suitcase. The security task force guy he called baggage handlers throwers. Modern bombs don't tick. but a suitcase that vibrates. The baggage handlers, the throwers, have to call the police. How I came to live with Tyler is because most airlines have this policy about vibrating baggage. My flight back from Dulles, I had everything in that bag. When you travel a lot, you learn to pack the same for every trip. 6 white shirts, 2 black trousers, the bare minimum you need to survive. Traveling alarm clock, cordless electric razor, toothbrush, 6 pair underwear, 6 pair black socks. It turns out my suitcase was vibrating on departure from Dulles, according to the security task force guy, so the police took it off the flight. Everything was in that bag. My contact lens stuff, 1 red tie with blue stripes, 1 blue tie with red stripes. These are regimental stripes, not club tie stripes, and 1 solid red tie. A list of all these things used to hang on the inside of my bedroom door at home. Home was a condominium on the 15th floor of a high-rise, a sort of filing cabinet for widows and young professionals. The marketing brochure promised a foot of concrete, floor and ceiling and wall between me and any adjacent stereo or turned-up television. A foot of concrete and air conditioning. You couldn't open the windows, so even with maple flooring and dimmer switches, all 1,700 airtight feet would smell like the last meal you cooked or your last trip to the bathroom. Yeah, and there were butcher block countertops and low-voltage track lighting. Still, a foot of concrete is important when your next-door neighbor lets the battery on her hearing aid go and has to watch her game shows at full blast. Or when a volcanic blast of burning gas and debris that used to be your living room set and personal effects blows out of your floor-to-ceiling windows and sails down flaming to leave your condo, only yours, a gutted, charred concrete hole in the cliffside of the building. These things happen. Everything, including your set of hand-blown green glass dishes with the tiny bubbles and imperfections, the little bits of sand, proof they were crafted by the honest, simple, hard-working, indigenous Aborigine peoples of wherever. Well, these dishes get all blown out by the blast. Picture the floor-to-ceiling drapes blown out and flaming to shreds in the hot wind. It's a little bit of Fight Club there on this Sunday morning. It was Big Book Day on the World Crypto Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Just to check in one more time with the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is down 0.49% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 8,835, a high of 9,198, and a low of 8,738. Volume was high for a weekend, with 9,014 Bitcoins changing hands. Margin longs continued to lead the day, with 81% of the market going that way. The Bitcoin halving is now coming up on May the 11th at 8:25 in the evening Pacific Coast time. Check it out right here on the World Crypto Network. We celebrated it last time, and we'll be celebrating it this time. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Thomas Hunt. Be sure to give us a like and a share. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. Until next time, bye-bye.